Welcome to the Eminence Legacy Podcast, your ultimate destination for self-help, self-development, and inspirational stories. We are on a mission here to guide you on a transformative journey. In each episode, we'll dive into powerful insights, practical tips, and moving stories that will inspire and empower you to rise to your eminence. Join us as we unlock the secrets to personal growth, overcome challenges, and build the legacy you've always dreamed of. Get ready to elevate your life and reach new heights with the Eminence Legacy Podcast. Let's rise to our eminence together.
How's it going, everyone, and welcome to the Eminence Legacy Podcast. My name is Alfonso Cadena, and I'm joined here by my co-host,
Jose Luis Cadena, and thank you for joining us.
All right, so the fall is starting. A lot of the kids are starting to go back to school. People are starting to change their routines as the year progresses. And I started going to the mall already, so because we go there sometimes when it's really hot out, so we go there to walk sometimes. And you're already starting to see like people putting up like their Halloween decorations and even like you can already start buying them since now. So we're definitely going into like a new season. So that's exciting for a lot of people. There was a lot of also like a craze for for the pumpkin spice lattes that are starting to be put back in the menus. So people are just really excited. Like it seems really early to me, but that's exactly why I think this topic that we're going to bring up is very important, which is specifically how can we be prepared to already start building those healthy habits before we go into like the new seasons. Because one of the things that we don't think about is that like, okay, I could maybe do it like a week later, like start making some lifestyle changes since like in a few weeks or maybe in a few months. Well, the problem with that is that like as we get closer to that time of year, essentially what's going to be happening is that you're going to have a lot more on your plate to worry about.
Usually it's been said that it takes about 30 days to build a habit. And I think that's even cutting it really, really short. I think sometimes you need more time to actually make adjustments because we have to not only change the habit, but prepare to to change that habit. A lot of times preparing involves planning out and making sure you have everything you need to be able to go through those changes.
Well, specifically because even if you put like a set amount of time, when you say, well, it might take like 30 days, I've heard as low as 7, regardless of the amount that you put there, of the like as far as like how many days it takes, that's assuming that you're going to be doing the same thing every single day. But most of us, the way it's going to happen is that you're going to start gradually, and maybe you're not going to get perfection at first, but as you get the momentum started and you start creating consistency, eventually you will get to that point where you start doing it consistently for every single day without having any lapses in between. But although with some of these things, like a lot of the times what we need to keep in mind is that that we need to settle for consistency rather than perfection. Because when you set the standard to be perfection, essentially what's going to happen is that you're not going to stick with it.
Yeah, that's correct. It's really, you set up yourself for failure if you're not prepared.
Exactly. So definitely, one of the things that you want to work on as we go into this new seasons, particularly the fall, then followed by the winter. I know for a lot of people, one of the things that is going to that's going to be coming up in the next couple of months is the hour change, right? So your days start getting shorter. And you get out of work and it's dark. You leave your house and it's dark. So it's so what you need to do is start creating an environment in which you're going to be able to flourish and still be able to be motivated despite how the temperature or how the weather is outside. I know one of the things that we're guilty of from as a lot of like South Texans is that they'll say, once it starts cooling down, I'll start going for walks, or once it starts cooling out, I'll spend more time outside or do work on this project. The problem is that I see it over and over again when the climate is to their ideal expectations, and they still don't change anything, or they never make time for that walk because guess what? Now it's too cold. Um, but there are stuff that you can't control, particularly like your environment. Meaning, um, when it comes to at least like in married life, one of the things that helps tremendously is being on the same page. So when you and your spouse can agree on that you're going to stay away from your processed foods and stuff that are unhealthy, it's a lot more easier to do when you're both willing to commit to it rather than just one. So because it's one of the easiest things to do is like if it's not available in your house, then you're less likely, you're going to put more barriers from you getting it.
I guess that's why we have to set specific goals in order for us to be able to have a target what we're gonna do. And one thing that happens a lot when it starts getting a little bit colder, honestly, like I don't want to get up. It becomes a lot tougher to get up and even start your day. It's just one of those things that the it's dark outside, it's cold, it's warm inside, and it kind of gets you in the mood to probably uh, hit the button a couple of
Yeah, that's
times.
definitely like something that is going to affect somebody's mood, whether it's lit outside or not. Which is interestingly enough, one of the things that I was finding was that one of the best things that you could do to be able to get that boost of energy is being exposed to sunlight, or like early in the morning. And what that's going to do is that it's going to send signals onto your brain that is going to give you more energy for the day. But in the case where where there's like a time change, that's still something that is able to be mitigated by adjusting the type of lighting environment that you have in your home. So, like you said, it's like, I mean, it's really cozy to stay in bed when it's out cold, and it's dark outside. But when you're able to be able to create an environment where it's like nicely lit, like it's sending signals to your brain that it's time to get up and get moving. Um, which could be challenging, especially in the bedroom, because at the same time you also want it to be the place where it's like really dark and suitable at night, so you can have the least amount of light during your sleeping time. Um, that way it'll be easier to fall asleep. But at the same time, there's also the other side of it that one of the first things that you want to do when you get up in the morning is be able to have sunlight exposure, or at the very least exposure to light in general. That's going to wake you up. Um, so yeah, like, I mean, that's definitely that people might want to consider, that being able to change what they have accessibility to, the type of lighting that they have in their homes. Like the type um, of light coming in through your windows. All of that is going to play a significant role when it comes to your energy levels.
I would say to create it's creating a winter friendly environment that you're able to navigate smoothly during the day.
Right. Yeah. So one of the things that is that I also wanted to mention, when it comes to when we're in the conversation about what you can do to get healthier, is that um, a lot of people have like this idea of what it is to get healthy, and I hear it all the time, when they, sometimes you sit through a sermon and the preacher will say, there's some people that are obsessed with fitness, and health. And a lot of times it's because we look at movies like Rocky, and we assume that it's like this intense um commitment, right? Something that you do 7 days a week, and when in reality, if you're doing it that often, you're doing it wrong because you're not giving your body time to recover. When you're talking about like a professional athlete, I mean, then that's their career. They're going to be doing it a lot more often than most of us. But for the vast majority of us, like 3 times a week, like for an hour each session is typically like the sweet spot, and it gives you it's enough to keep you healthy. It's enough to see progress, and at the same time, you're giving your body plenty of time to recover. But even for the people that are just getting started, uh, one of the things that is so underrated is the benefits of walking. Uh, you just we as a species, I mean, we were meant to walk long distances. So when we would go out hunt for our foods, and then and catch it, right? Or when we go out to forage, I mean, a lot of the times, like our lives consisted of walking from place to place. And even before the creation of and the vast availability for the automobile, you would still have people walking to their neighbors' homes or walking to the market. And we have so little of that these days, where we spend most of our time sedentary. So a lot of times you think it's like, well, how is it that I'm eating the same? Me and this person eats the same amount, but for some reason I seem to be getting all the effects of it, but they never seem to see any consequence for it. They still look the same way. Well, one of the things, and not to mention that our activity level, like, I mean, it's not like they go to the gym or anything. One of the things that people fail to consider is that those steps that you do, like in every day, um, play a significant role. So maybe that person stays the same, maybe because their job involves them to be walking more steps on average.
One thing also that helps to keep in mind is that your body doesn't know what day it is. Meaning that if you work out on Monday and then maybe next Monday you kind of weren't able to put in that workout, so now you moved it to Tuesday. The body really doesn't know the difference between a Monday or a Tuesday. We just need to be consistent. And when we're talking about uh, it's one of the biggest things not to compare yourself, because everybody's metabolism is different. So everybody's going to work differently. So we don't want to focus on that. We actually, um, it's a good idea probably to get a training partner or somebody that you could work out with and stay motivated with, because that creates a little bit of more accountability, and it creates I guess it will be a friendly competitiveness, but not to the point to where you are like upset because they're doing better than you are or not. We need to remember again that everybody's body is different. Everybody's different when it comes to the way our body develops and burns calories.
Right, and adding to that too, when it comes to like the finding a partner, um, I know for a lot of people that haven't been to a gym, it could be very intimidating at first. So finding a partner that is willing to go with you is definitely going to be a huge perk to get you through the door. Um, but it's important to also think about like the different ways of accountability and the different styles of partnership. It's like it could be, that you start off with by going to the gym with that partner. But the thing is that sometimes, I mean, your schedules might not match, and you might end up going at different times, or maybe one person is going to miss, and that's fine, right? So like I know for us that like particularly are more fond of like of strength training type of exercises, we tend to think that it's like it's a very lonely type of workout routine. Like we're so used to going on our own, going at our own pace, taking long rest periods in between, right? So that's but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's something that you're doing on your own, right? So like let's say in our case, I mean, we know each other, we're pretty close, so like we talk about our goals with each other. We talk about what we found challenging, or talk about what has helped each other to be able to do a certain exercises more efficiently. um, so the partnership in that regard has taken a different form, where it's like the person is not necessarily there with you every time that you go do your own routine, but the fact that there's accountability and people that you can bounce ideas off of is playing a significant role as well. And the reason I mentioned that is because one of the first objections that people might have is like, well, there's nobody that let's say I work the night shift, everybody's working that while everybody's working while I'm out there in the gym. It's like, well, I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't find somebody to hold you accountable, and someone to partner up with that you share the same goals with.
I mean, there's a lot of also things that you could do. Like I know that Peloton has this thing that you pay a subscription and you're working out like in groups, and you actually have a live trainer at whatever time you sign up. They always have a class available. So there's options for you out there. Like if you feel like you need to be working out with someone. And for somebody in colder areas where there's snow and things like that, well, maybe you should find like a winter sport like maybe skiing or snowboarding or something that you might enjoy being a little bit more active during this time.
Yeah, like I mean, the intensity is going to change from person to person, but certainly there's things that that can be done even from home. I mean, people will be surprised what you can do with just a couple of dumbbells and a barbell, right? Um, and with the access to the internet, it's like so accessible now, and it's like it's like I know you've said this before. I'm not sure if you've said it on here, but it's if somebody says it's like, well, I only walked half a mile today. It's like, well, half a mile is still better than than nothing at all, right? So it's like the point is like, I mean, everybody gets started in a certain level, find their level of intensity that they're comfortable with, and you definitely don't want to overcommit to this, right? So it's like because like we've been saying over and over again, consistency is key. So if you're going to start by some crazy goal by saying it's like, okay, I'm going to be going to the gym 5 times a week, it's like, no, man, just go twice a week. And then if you see that you still have the energy, right, and that you're feeling motivated to be add a little bit more to it, then you can increase it to 3 days a week, right? But not everybody needs to start at the same level, which is something that holds so many people back because they want to go 1000%, when in reality it's like just gradual increase is going to be able to um, create that change that you're looking for. It's like the analogy of the airplane, right? Like all it takes is a little bit of a few degrees to the left or a few degrees to the right, and that plane is going to end up in a whole different direction, right? Same thing with a forklift. I mean, you get on a forklift and all it takes is that small little change of direction, and it's completely going to change the direction that the trajectory of what you're heading towards. So just a few things to keep in mind, right? That not everybody needs to start at the same level, and the whole, and like you said, uh, it's so easy to compare yourself to one another. It's like, for once, I mean, just look at yourself and see what is it that you can do to make yourself feel better, to feel more energy, to feel more strength, to be able to not feel sickly all the time. Because it's one of the things that unfortunately is so true in our culture, that people feel ill so often that they don't know what it is to feel good anymore. That's definitely something to keep in mind.
Yeah, and another thing is mixing it up is always good, and always most of the time you'll find different challenges even on different apps. Like if you use Map My Fitness or Runkeeper, there's challenges there all the time that they say, okay, this month we're gonna do like 200 miles or whatever. So you could always join those type of challenges to try to stay motivated and try to get meet your goals, and using your technology, like maybe if you have a watch or something, just keeping track of those workouts, it'll help you, or remind you that it's time to get up and start walking again or whatnot. But using, again, going back to where we started, like changing that environment around you to be able to meet those different goals. And it's very important that during the winter time we have healthy foods in our pantries, because we're gonna get the munchies, because the colder it gets, your body wants to eat because it wants to keep itself warm. That's the reason you feel like you get the munchies a little bit more during the winter, because your body's trying to burn something to keep warm.
Yeah, most of us, if we could, we probably want to hibernate, but that's what we're trying to fight against.
Yeah.
Something. I mean, something so easy, and again, I mean, like you could probably find good sources to back this up. But like something so simple, like, I mean, investing a little bit more in your health, like with a multivitamin. You go to the store, you see that it's $15. It's like, uh, it's going to pay off, right? And because if you have ever gotten like a hospital expense or even a doctor visits expense, it adds up, and it's actually could be very expensive. So a lot of time we have this distorted view that thinking it's like, man, it's expensive to be healthy. It's like, actually it's a lot more expensive to be unhealthy, right? um so it's I mean, and like I said, it's like it's until you realize of how little it actually takes for you to get to make differences in your life, that we realize that it's like, what, I could be doing so much of this, and it's so simple. I mean, just like a brisk walk is going to give you so many benefits. You think about the benefits of vitamin D, bone health, immune system, support, your moods are better, your and your muscle gets to be functional, right? It gets to do what it needs to do. Um, it's and it's cheap, right? Like, I mean, because how much does it cost to actually go to the park and walk? Is the cost of entry is very minimal. You have you put on any pair of shoes that you've got, you walk out the door, and it's of no cost to you.
Yeah, the important thing is to plan, schedule, and reward yourself after you're done with the workout. Like, find something that you enjoy after, maybe tea time or a cup of coffee or whatever it is that you want to reward yourself with, something that makes you feel that you earned it.
Well, not to mention that, like there's forms of activities that could be enjoyable in them of themselves, right? So, like, if you enjoy taking your kids out to play in the park, um, or playing sports with them, it's like, I mean, you're doing several things at once. It's like, one, I mean, you're contributing towards your overall wellness, for your health. You're bonding with your kids. In and at the same time, it's something that's enjoyable, and that's another misconception that so many people have, that being healthy has to always be like terrible or punishing. That, like, there certainly could be. Yeah, now you could make it challenging, you could increase the intensity of it, but the final goal is like, um it's not because we think that's the key to overall improvement, right? If you talk to a trainer such as yourself, is like, I mean, you would agree that it's that you need to start in a level where you're going to be consistent. You're going to be you lower your chances of injury, because again, you want to do this for the long run. You don't just want to have that one killer week and never do anything for the rest of your life again. It's like, you want it to be a gradual increase that you're going to benefit from for the rest of your life.
Yeah, it needs to be a lifestyle change.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So, just I wanted to do a quick shout out to to the Trappers John's Knives. So I was up in the San Antonio area, and speaking of the outdoors, I picked up some very nice some very nice knives there. One for me, one for my wife. Guys, like, something about this place is that, like, if you're like a collector, he has it. If you're just looking for something that's like for a utility, something that you need to carry, so for your everyday tools, like, this is the place to go. The people there are super knowledgeable. I came out there learning about how to sharpen my knife. Not something that, like, I was necessarily familiar with, but he taught. I mean, I see people do it. I've done it myself, uh, but actually hearing the technique behind it, was particularly enlightening for me. But yeah, check it out. These guys are by 16350 Blanco Road and Suite 129. Go check them out, because their collection is definitely incredible. Um, Also, don't forget to visit Eminence Legacy, our website, where you'll find a blog, you'll find personal training and coaching. So definitely go check that out. And So that's an eminencelegacylive.com. You can find me on Instagram, Alfonso Cadena. JC, any shout outs you want to put out?
Yeah, going back to the store there in San Antonio, just also they have over 100 different brands, and they also have a specialty knives that are custom made. So make sure and check them out, because it is a store to go to. And thank you for having us. And remember that winter may be cold, but your determination is the fire that keeps you going. Embrace the challenge and let's get out there and make those changes that we need to go ahead and become the better version of ourselves.
All right, everyone. Have a good week. Bye-bye.